It's Tuesday, January 16. Will you please rise with me for the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Ms. Grant has lost her voice, so Ms. Schottky has agreed to play the role of secretary for this meeting.
Yes, delighted to. All right, Ms. Grant. You're here. Yes. All right, Ms. Lewis.
Here.
Reverend Matthias.
Here.
Mr. Ross is excused. Ms. Schottky here. Ms. Slade.
Present.
Dr. Baker.
Here.
Dr. Flores.
Here.
And President Faub.
Present. Do I have a motion for approval of the agenda?
So moved.
Support for
Second.
that?
Support.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thank you. We have no celebrations, and I see no report from the student representatives. Oh, right. It's the end of the semester, too. I didn't know if they had work to do. Do we have public comment for board agenda items?
No, we do not.
All right. Reports, secretary's report.
All right, just a few items this evening. Board members, just a few reminders about committee meetings. So next Tuesday, January 23rd at 1 p.m. will be the Ad Hoc Policy Committee. We will meet downstairs in room 101. And on Monday, January 29 at 4 p.m., the Finance Committee meeting has been rescheduled, and that will be held here in the auditorium. All right, next, the Grand Rapids Public Schools presents School Choice Expo and Winter Carnival on Thursday, January 18 from 4 to 6 p.m. at Innovation Central High School, which is located at 421 Fountain Street Northeast. This is a family-friendly event offering GRPS students and their families, as well as prospective families, the opportunity to learn about school choices while enjoying a fun winter celebration. Free dinner will be provided. Of course, Grand Rapids Public Schools offers the largest selection of school choices in all of West Michigan, including our many theme schools and centers of innovation. And lastly, the district will be holding our annual Kindergarten Here I Come on Wednesday, January 24 from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. at the Grand Rapids Public Museum, which is located at 272 Pearl Street Northwest. This is a great opportunity for Grand Rapids Public Schools parents to meet and talk with representatives from your elementary school, get your questions answered about GRPS kindergarten, and learn more about curriculum, theme schools, English language learners, before and after school programs, health services, and transportation. Please come enjoy a night at the Grand Rapids Public Museum free of charge, including admission to the planetarium. Children are, of course, welcome. If you have any questions, please contact the Early Childhood Education Office at 819-2111. Thank you.
Thank you. Committee Chair update. Reverend Matthias, academic achievement?
Yes, this morning, the Academic Achievement Committee met from 9 to about 10 or so. And we had a good, robust presentation on priority schools, an update on suspension, PBIS, restorative practices. We have a lot of work to do, but it was exciting to see the kind of information that was shared with us. I encourage the board members to take a good look at the reports. And I want to encourage parents too, I think, to really become more involved in their schools and making it better for each of the students and certainly our teachers. But I think that we had really quite some good conversation about how do we continue to improve the culture of our schools and the safety of our schools. So.
If I may just add something, I don't know the name of it, but I'm sure, Superintendent, what is the name of that software that we have that will tell people what time of day the kids are suspended? And I mean, I didn't even realize that was available.
It's the Swiss data we look at. Swiss.
And I don't know that other folks are familiar with that, but that was really, to be able to, like, one of the examples they shared with us was that there were a lot of suspensions around 10 o'clock in the morning, and why was that happening? Well, that the kids were out in the hall, and there were things that were going on that they could change, and then the number of suspensions go down. And so, I mean, having those kinds of little particular pieces of information is so invaluable. I was very impressed.
All right, superintendent's report.
Dr. Falb and members of the board, I'd like to ask John Himholt to come forward, please.
I'm Superintendent, President Fall, members of the board. As we know, we just came off of a public hearing around the Promise Zone. This is a very unique opportunity. Since the legislature in 2009 initially enacted Promise Zone legislation that allowed for the creation of up to 10 Promise Zones, the legislature just this last year, enacted by the governor in November of 2017, expanded that for 5 new sites. These are opportunities to create a Promise Zone, which includes a tax capture of the school education tax. This would be a percent of, on the increased growth in tax capture, we would capture a percentage of it. We held that public hearing. The law is very clear that you must have 20 public notices in public locations, as well as 2 advertisements in a local newspaper 20 days in advance of the public hearing. We held that public hearing. Now before you tonight is the opportunity to vote to position us. This would, by passing the resolution, you are positioning Grand Rapids for one of those 5 new zones. It is on a first come, first served basis. And so this does not ultimately commit us other than committed to seeking out this opportunity, positioning us for the Promise Zone. If you were to approve this, we would then, after 30 days, would submit that to the Michigan Department of Treasury. Treasury would then likely in short order turn around and say yay or nay, whether or not we were in line for one of those Promise Zones. After that, the superintendent then has the authority to appoint the Promise Zone Authority. 9 of the 11 slots are appointed by the superintendent. 3 of those, only 3 could be public officials, one of whom has to be an education public official. That Promise Zone Board Authority would then come together to put together what's known as a Promise Zone Development Plan. And that's where all the details of what this zone could look like. Right now, the law says it must be a minimum of a scholarship for an associate degree at a local community college. But it can be up to 4-year tuition at public or private universities in the state of Michigan. These scholarships must be eligible for all public and private students who reside in the city and graduate from one of the public or private or charter high schools. So the details of what the local fundraising, which would be required in order to kind of match some of the dollars that would be necessary, as the state tax capture would likely not generate the full amount. We really don't know those numbers yet. We know GRPS graduate numbers. We have estimates from some of our colleagues at Christian and Catholic and Wellspring. But the task of the authority would be to actually put together the plan in partnership with local philanthropic individuals, institutions, higher education, and our public and private education partners. Is there anything else you'd like me to add, Madam Superintendent?
Sounds familiar. Kind of just went over that the last meeting, so.
Not all of your colleagues were here, and I think we wanted a quick
Okay.
overview.
All right, awesome. Any questions, especially for Dr. Flores and Reverend Matias, who weren't at the hearing? Questions? Okay.
It would seem that there would be a lot of interest from our parochial, private, and charter schools because they're going to benefit from that. Are they also going to help fund it?
That's something that, again, part of this is our hope would be yes, of course. I mean, in order to raise the level of dollars that would be necessary to really make this happen, it's going to have to be that public-private partnership and everyone coming together to determine how we raise those dollars in a sustainable manner, so this opportunity can be afforded for all students. And ideally, we'd go beyond the 2 years or an equivalent thereof.
Very exciting.
Yeah, exciting opportunity, and thank you for your work there. Just
just for interest's sake, but the tax cap, the increase in, the growth in the tax capture that would go to fund this, what would happen to those dollars if we didn't have it? Is that just go into the school aid budget? That this is funded through the.
That is correct.
through
These
the-
are dollars that would otherwise go into the state school aid fund.
Okay, all right, so, okay.
Yeah, and I think one of the clarification points is that it isn't every year it's that percentage, it's, there's a set point, and it's the percentage off of that. So the amount, you know, is significant.
It is. So the sooner, again, that's partly if we had started 3 years ago or 5 years ago, I mean, think of what the property values were then to where they are now. So the incremental growth in property value is on the rise in Grand Rapids, and some of our estimates are in the tens of millions of dollars, depending on how conservative you may be and what that growth would be and that 0.5% capture that we would get from it. But we're talking tens of millions.
All right, thank you. So that has set the stage for the action item on our agenda, which is to approve the resolution to initiate the application process. Again, this isn't to adopt it, but to initiate the process and the establishment of the authority. So do I have a motion for approval of this resolution?
Moved.
Support?
Support.
Any deliberations, discussion? All right, take the vote.
Ms. Grant?
Yes.
Ms. Lewis?
Yes.
Reverend Matias?
Yes.
Mr. Ross is excused. Ms. Shotkey, yes. Ms. Slade?
Yes.
Dr. Baker?
Yes.
Dr. Flores?
Yes.
And President Faub.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Do you have a motion for approval of the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Support?
Please take the vote.
Ms. Grant?
Yes.
Ms. Lewis? Reverend Matias?
Yes.
Mr. Ross is excused. Ms. Shotkey, yes. Ms. Slade?
Yes.
Dr. Baker?
Yes.
Dr. Flores?
Yes.
And President Faub.
Yes.
Motion carries.
We have no discussion items, but I just want to add on there that I've heard from most of you about committee assignments, but not all of you. So if you have a strong preference, let me know which your preference may be, or you will be assigned. So try to let me know that by the end of the week. Hopefully my assignments meet with more approval than the seat assignments I made did. I'm joking. We all have a book that has been recommended to us by Dr. Baker, and that'll be our book study to help aid us in our governance regarding leading equity and our development of a policy to support that governance.
What is the date of that meeting?
For the retreat meeting, is Julie
The 26th.
26?
Monday,
Okay.
26th, I believe, yeah.
Okay, Monday the
February.
26th.
26th of February?
Monday. So that is our retreat date, so you got a little time to read it, so thank you, Dr. Baker, for that recommendation, appreciate
So
it.
everybody's supposed to read it by Monday, the 26th.
Yeah, I think so, that's enough time, isn't it? Need a deadline. Oh yeah, and the retreat date was my other thing on my notes, so, any questions about any of that? I'll look for,
Can we have like we could discuss the agenda for that date, but I think it might be a lot to like go through a whole book in the allotment time. I mean, maybe we could spend an hour discussing some major themes and then have 3 or 4 other discussions of it throughout
oh
the
yeah,
year.
absolutely, we won't be spending the whole day on that book, so.
No, I know, but we wouldn't use that day alone to discuss the book, would we?
Sure,
Yeah, I think it would be better to
Okay,
have
that
discussed
makes
it over a
sense.
longer period. I'll put together maybe
okay.
a few chunks.
That'd be great. That sounds great. So if you'd want people to read it in chunks too, then you can. Okay. Stay tuned. All right.
I'm always the nice teacher, you know, it's like, spread it out.
Easy, sounds like. I'm assuming there's no comment from you, Ms. Grant? No. Oh, wait, did I miss something? Oh, public comment. Oh, jeez.
All right, Mr. Shapaniak, would you like to come
Discussion item
forward?
threw me. We have a public comment. My apologies. Come forward and be heard.
Good evening, members of the Board of Education, the superintendent. My name is Eric John Chupaniak. I am a member of the Kennewick Hills Public Schools Board of Education, and I am here this evening to talk about the Kent Intermediate Association of School Board election, and also just to put faces to names and to meet everybody. So I'm trying to get around to all the school districts that I can, but it's always difficult because most of us pick the same nights of the week to meet. But the Kent Intermediate Association of School Boards is a 9-member body. Mrs. Downs Lewis is on that board. And what they do is they plan the 3 large events for all the school board members in the Kent Intermediate School District. So your board plus the 19 other school boards. So we can all get together. There's one coming up in March, and then there's a date coming up in April. And the date in April is where we will select 3 members for 3-year terms on this board, and I'm running for it. So trying to visit everyone, let you learn a bit about me. I was born and raised in Grand Rapids. I lived on the west side, right by the zoo, for most of my childhood growing up. And then, so I did K through 8 in Grand Rapids Public Schools through Shawmut, Blandford, and then City, 7th and 8th grade. And then I ended up my high school career at Kennewick Hills when we moved into the Walker area. I'm currently a student at Grand Valley State University studying social studies and education secondary. I want to be a high school social studies teacher, and I am thrilled about it. I love education. I love getting kids engaged and trying to make it more fun. And so I think that these are some things that I can bring to that body. One thing I'm working on right now is with the superintendent of the ISD creating a countywide voter registration day or several days that we're going to do this April. So the ISD is planning on spending a little bit of money to provide some funds for that, just for promoting it. And then we are going to get all sorts of kids registered to vote across our whole county. So I prepared some more information about myself for each of you, and I think I've got them all in order, so I'll just
No, you can
Pass.
just leave it with Zenobia or Julie, and she'll get them to us.
thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir. Superintendent's comments.
I would like to welcome Dr. Foreman's daughters to the board.
Yeah. Yes. Awesome. No comment from? No comment. Ms. Lay. Ms. Lewis. Ms. Jackie.
Yeah, I was just really excited about what the Promise Zone could mean for Grand Rapids Public School students and just for this community and for our city. So a thank you to those that came out for the community hearing. I saw some of our key partners, Grand Rapids Community College, Student Advancement Foundation, Commissioner Lanier. Just really grateful for the support in the community that comes together to do right things for students. So thank you.
Again, my kids used to sit there and,
Yeah.
they grew up, and they always brag about how cool it was to sit in those meetings. So do it as often as you can. And when we're done here, you can play with that gavel.
No comments.
Reverend Matias?
You know, it was, I got re-energized being at the Martin Luther King breakfast this week. And just kind of for such a time as this, I think more than ever before do those words resonate. It was a good conversation. I think too, I was very excited and pleased about the academic committee meeting today, and just really some of the tools that we have at our disposal, and looking at some of our issues, especially being an urban district. Sometimes, we're looked at or blamed, but we have some good stuff going on, and so very excited about the people who are involved in that, and excited to see some good changes that are gonna come out of that. The other thing too is that it's my birthday.
Oh.
It happens to be my birthday.
You were one of how many
And,
kids? How many kids were in your family?
Oh, 16.
Yeah.
I-
So I know when you're part of a big family, you have to point out at your birthday, because they don't remember it otherwise.
yeah.
So
Oh,
we're
yeah.
gonna
He-
forgive you for pointing that
He
out.
lives, you know, that kind of thing. So, anyway,
Where were you? What number were you? 16 on the 16th?
I was 15. I have a younger sister, so.
Yeah. Well, happy birthday.
Birthday.
Well, I just, I want to note, we knew this at the last meeting, but it wasn't public, but we lost a phenomenal educator in this past week. And I just want to express my sympathy and condolences to everybody who is grieving Mr. K. He made such an impact on my son and reminded me of how much we don't celebrate educators in our community and our society enough. He certainly had a formational impact on my son that will last his entire life. He really, at a sensitive time between childhood and adolescence, he really set him on the path to be disciplined, to be curious, to be responsible, and to be caring. And have deep gratitude for Mr. K and his dedication to the children of Grand Rapids Public Schools. So I know Tony's daughter had him as well, so yeah. All right, meeting adjourned.